It's time for us to put up our portfolio question. Now, every week in our rapid fire section, we pick the portfolio of one lucky viewer and we take a look at all of his stocks and tell him what he should be holding on to and what he should be exiting. This week, Ritesh is our lucky viewer. He tells us he's a long-term holder of these stocks, Paras, and he wants you to tell him what stocks he should hold on to for that long term. He has 25 shares of Bharti Airtel, which he bought at 249. What would you recommend he does?
It's a hold at the current levels.
50 shares of JP Associates bought at 118 rupees.
Yeah, I think if he has the appetite, he can add on to the positions. I think JP Associates is destined for much better times as we move along.
He has 1,000 shares of Reliance Power bought at about 88 rupees. Now, in terms of the power sector and going forward with a shortage of coal and things like that, where do you say this stock going forward?
While yes, the power sector has a potential in future, but there are a lot of policy headwinds facing the sector, and therefore if one has to be into Reliance Power, I think the exposure could be taken through Reliance Infrastructure, and therefore I would recommend exiting out of Reliance Power. 63
shares of SpiceJet bought at 76 rupees. Now, we did see those airline stocks rally during this week because of a cut in air turbine fuel, but going forward, do you think that it makes sense to have one of those stocks in his portfolio?
My view on the aviation sector is that it's a very difficult business to be in, and all the good things that you're seeing in the sector is largely because of one large airline closing down. And therefore, I think the kind of euphoria that we're seeing right now could be short-lived. So it's a very good time to exit out of the stock and get into something which is much more predictable.
Alright, 1,000 shares of Suzlon bought at 1650. What's your call on Suzlon? We saw that it had a lot of trouble on its balance sheet, but do you think that given his time horizon of 4 to 5 years, there's anything to hope for there?
Suzlon has been trying to deleverage the balance sheet and kind of propel the business. But so far, there are not too many indications of the management getting some success out of it. I think it makes a lot of sense to exit out of the stock and cash on the investment.
Alright, last stock on his list is Tata Motors, which he bought at 222. We did talk about Maruti and Mahindra a little earlier on the show. Tell us quickly what your call is on Tata Motors as well.
Tata Motors again, I think looks pretty interesting. It's an excellent play. On Indian economy turning around, largely because of its exposure to the CV segment, and in terms of exposure to the passenger car segment and the luxury car segment, it has the Jaguar Land Rover. So it's a good combination. Valuations are cheap. The business is large. My sense is it makes a lot of sense to really hold on to the position.
Alright, Ritesh, we hope that helps. That's your entire portfolio. Paras, they're telling you what to hold on to and what not to. If you want to know what to replace those stocks with, I'm going to call out the portfolio that Paras designed for us a little earlier on the show. He talked about Axis Bank, SBI, L&T, Maruti, Sun Pharma, ING Vaishya Bank, Bajaj Corp, Talwalkar Fitness, PVR and Shobha Developers. These are stocks that Paras recommends right now. So if you're wondering what to add to those portfolios, to that portfolio that you have, maybe you can consider something from this list of recommendations. I'm told we have time for one more very quick question. We have Surajit, who's written in 100 shares of SKS Microfinance bought at 135. Should he hold on to this stock and hope for gains going forward? Now, he's already made a small profit, but do you believe that there's more gain from this stock? It's had a fairly topsy-turvy life on the stock market.
I think he's been one of the few fortunate guys to catch SKS Microfinance at the lower levels. While there has been tremendous volatility in the business, and therefore even the stock markets on this stock, but I think the future augurs pretty well for this company. And therefore the prices could be much higher over the next 5 years for this company.